In the opening shots, we see a blind young man named Ian who has come to apply for a new job at a world-famous clinic for the blind. He is given a room. The maid didn't even realize that Ian was blind. Tom, the head physician, explained in general terms what the job is all about. Now Ian is the new spatial orientation teacher. Left alone in his room, Ian explores it, listening to the sounds around him. At night, he couldn't sleep, so he took a wire out of the lamp to build something useful for himself. In the morning, he began clanking the wire on the windowsill. These sounds attracted the attention of a German woman named Eva, who lives next door. It's time for the first lesson. Ian teaches students how to navigate the world around them without resorting to tactile contact. They listen to sounds and pick up smells and draw conclusions. An interested Eva listens to the learning process. Despite his blindness, Ian has excellent spatial orientation and senses if there are objects in his path. At night, Eva decided to go outside on her own, but she stumbled across a sheet hanging from a clothesline and was frightened. In the next lesson, the students were learning how to pour water into a glass without spilling it over the edge. No one was able to do this. One day, silent Eva spoke to Ian, who told her that every morning he fed sparrow seeds. Eva did not know that instead of seeds, he poured pebbles. As he was walking down the hall, a chair suddenly appeared in his path. It turned out that someone tried to play him. The lessons continued, and the students made progress. They marveled at how Ian could navigate as if he were not blind and could see everything. The students strove to achieve the same skill. Following Ian's example, Eva began to feed sparrows by leaving seeds on the windowsill. As Ian walked down the corridor, he tripped over a fishing line, stretched across the corridor, and fell. Ian asked the students why they did it. They confessed that they wanted to know if he used a cane when no one could see. Ian is convinced that blind people do not need a cane, unlike lame people. As Ian, after locking up the classroom, walked back to his room, he realized that there was someone in the hallway. Eva tried to remain unnoticed and took off her shoes so as not to make any noise. But Ian found her slippers and left them under the roommate's door. At night, as always, he went outside the clinic to take a walk alone. During the lesson, Ian taught the students new ways to experience the world around them without sight. When the head physician saw patients wandering freely around the territory, he asked the nurses to stop the outrage. Tom called Ian into his office and told him that outdoor lessons require special training and at least 3 sighted helpers. Also, Tom doesn't like that Ian doesn't use a cane because that could be dangerous. Ian announced that he wanted to take the students outside tomorrow and asked for Tom's approval. Later, the guy was walking around the territory. Like Ian, Eva was learning to listen to the sounds around her and make up her own picture of the world. Now the lessons were held indoors. Since the doctor never received a lesson plan from Ian, the outdoor class was not approved. Ian asked the students to open the door and tell him what was outside. The students listened as they talked about their observations. This caught Eva's attention. Ian immediately recognized the neighbor's footsteps, leaving her puzzled. Eva suggested he take a walk. It turned out that she, too, had decided not to use a cane because she did not want to cause pity to those around her. Serrano, one of the students, listened attentively. Meanwhile, Eva was learning to take her first steps without a cane. Unlike Ian, who felt confident even crossing the road, she felt disoriented. Eva tried to get used to listening to every footstep and rustle around her. Finally, she dared to walk without the help of Ian, who followed behind. The girl constantly collided with pedestrians. Ian advised her to just walk straight ahead. The pedestrians would go around on their own. Without the doctor's knowledge, Serrano also decided to leave the clinic grounds. At this time, Eva felt more and more confident. She was amazed at how Ian could tell people by their steps and guess many things. Later, Ian and Eva sat in the park, guessing plants by touch. Ian was able to distinguish the cherry tree from the other trees unhindered. Ian helped the new friend choose shoes. Despite his blindness, he was free to tell which shoes were good and which were bad. Now Eva had to learn to walk in heels. She walked carefully down the steps, afraid of tripping. Ian and Eva decided to have lunch at an outdoor cafe. Ian sensed people sitting nearby playing checkers and drinking homemade wine from mugs. He also said there was a bay nearby because the ringing of the church bells reflected off the ships and created an echo. Ian dared to take Eva's hand. Then he decided to go get the waiter, who appeared to have forgotten about them. At the same time, Ian was going to pour the wine. A certain man started a conversation with Eva, to whom she seemed beautiful. Ian didn't like it. In class, the students continued to learn how to pour water into the glass, and they were getting much better at it. Unlike them, Ian didn't pour water over the edge. He advised them to do it quickly and decisively. Serrano wanted to escape again and made a soft tip for his cane so that the teacher would not hear him. This way Serrano was able to get out unnoticed, but he did not dare to cross the road yet. In the evening, Serrano told drunken Ian that he thought he was only pretending to be blind, for only a sighted person could cross the road unobstructed. Ian said that it was enough to listen to the intensity of the sound of cars to know how far away or how close it were. To finally dispel Serrano's doubts, Ian let him touch his artificial glass eyes. Eva was awakened by the loud snoring of Ian, who fell asleep with his clothes on. In the afternoon, Tom saw a boy trying to learn how to get around without a cane. Later, Ian showed Tom and the others how to navigate by flicking his tongue or fingers. Objects reflect sounds, and it helps to catch where things are. If they learn how to do that, they don't need a cane. All the students applauded Ian, admiring his skill. Some eyewitnesses are skeptical and believe that Ian used some tricks, otherwise he would not have been able to navigate so freely. Ian has a sensor in his pocket that can measure distance. Ian decided to prove that he could do without the sensor, but on the way he fell into a coal pit. Later, Tom tells him that he is a danger to himself and other patients. Tom had no choice but to fire Ian. He assured, however, that he had written him good references and was willing to pay him in full for the last month. Ian is depressed because he is now out of a job. Tom promised that he would find him a position in the office, but now he is not allowed to walk around the clinic without a cane. For Ian to take the cane in his hand meant admitting his weakness. The former students have come to think of him as a fraud. Ian was visited by Eva and invited him for a walk, but he refused, being depressed. Eva left feeling upset. Suddenly, Serrano called out to her and said that he could take her to that bar on the corner. Eva decided to say yes. She put on lipstick and mascara on her eyes, though she couldn't see her reflection. Eva was very worried, but she trusted Serrano. The two of them went into town together, and Eva almost crashed into a pole. Serrano wanted to get cherries from a tree for his companion, but it turned out to be acacia. Finally, they arrived at the bar. Surprisingly, Serrano was able to make sense of his surroundings through sounds and smells. They caught the attention of the man sitting next to them. He stared and even fell over. It turned out that this guy was an American who had come here on vacation. Eva didn't know that Ian was sitting at a table nearby. He choked on his coffee when she lied about surfing. The guy said he was also into surfing. A conversation ensued between him and Eva, and he asked her to meet him and go surfing together. Eva politely declined. Hearing the bell ringing, Serrano began to listen for the sound waves reflecting off the ship in the bay. This was exactly what Ian had been talking about earlier. However, Eva's new acquaintance, as well as the men at the table next door, stated that there was no bay and no ships nearby. It's quite a long drive to the nearest bay. Serrano and Eva realized that all this time Ian has been deceiving them. This shocked them. In the park, Eva discovered a small market selling fruit, including cherries. That is, there was originally no cherry tree. In the evening, Serrano, being furious, told Ian that he was a liar. All this time he had been lying to his students. Ian replied, as if nothing had happened, that all sighted people look but see nothing. According to him, there was indeed a large ship at the wharf, but Serrano no longer believed a word of it. To prove his point, Ian led him to the wharf. Suddenly, Ian took Serrano's cane to teach him to cross the road on his own. However, they both stumbled and fell at the curb. Serrano panicked when he lost his cane, but Ian found it. The guys slowly approached the edge. The ship wasn't here yet, but Ian assured it would arrive soon. Ian told Serrano to throw a rock, and he heard the sound of water. Ian said it was the Atlantic and the Tahoe River to them left. They continued to walk along the water, Ian unafraid to approach the very edge. Suddenly, Ian declared that they were near the stern of a huge ship. In confirmation of his words, he clapped his hands so that the sound supposedly reflected off the metal. Serrano was fascinated and believed everything the teacher said. Soon, however, the guy began to suspect that Ian was lying. He doesn't hear any ship. Ian immediately began to convince him otherwise, suggesting him sounds that the guy does not hear. The police spotted the guys and took them to the station. Tom was already here too and asked what they were doing on the wharf and why they were throwing rocks. Ian replied that they had no malicious intent. Tom took Serrano to his former blind patient who had foolishly stumbled in front of a train and was left disabled. It made Serrano cry. Later, Tom told Ian to pack his things and leave immediately. Ian asked permission to say goodbye to his friends, but Tom didn't think it was a good idea. As he was told, Ian packed his bags. That day, Eva learned that Ian had not been throwing seeds to the sparrows on the windowsill, but pebbles. Everything he said was a lie. He also used metal wire to imitate the stomping of birds on the windowsill. Eva could not hold back her tears. Ian left, and Eva, guided by the sounds, followed him. Now she was moving around the city unaided and was even able to cross the road. Soon, however, Eva was disoriented by so many sounds, and she was lost. She did manage to find the same bar. In the last scene, we see a huge ship approaching. It turns out that Ian was at a table nearby. Eva was able to sense it.